By 70, the average man has lost 30% of his peak muscle mass. Gone. And he's been told that's normal. It's not normal. It's negotiable. Rare physique versus average build. What's the difference after 60? The difference is a system. 5 biological triggers that either build you or break you down, and most men are pulling the wrong levers daily. You're eating enough, training consistently, sleeping 7 hours, and you're still shrinking. Why? Because volume isn't the issue. Precision is. The rare physique guy at 68 isn't working harder than you. He's hitting specific thresholds you don't even know exist. Protein timing, load progression, recovery windows. Miss one, your body defaults to catabolism, muscle breakdown, managed decline. I'm going to show you the exact thresholds that separate the top 3% from everyone else. And the first one will challenge everything you think you know about protein. Sarcopenia. That's the technical term for what's happening to you right now. Between 40 and 70, you lose 3 to 8% of your muscle mass every decade. Unless you actively reverse it. Most men don't. They accept the shrinkage, the weaker grip, the softer midsection. By 70, the average guy is operating at 70% of his peak muscle mass. That's not age. That's anabolic resistance. Your muscles become deaf to protein signals. The volume knob gets turned down from 10 to 3. And nobody told you. So when you're picking up your grandkid and your back gives out, that's not a fluke. When you're on vacation and you can't keep up on the hike your buddies planned, that's sarcopenia in action. These aren't minor inconveniences. They're warnings. The rare physique guy at 68, he's at 90 to 95% of his peak, sometimes more. He's not genetically gifted. He's systematically reversing anabolic resistance using 3 biological levers. And the gap between him and everyone else? It starts at the cellular level. Most men think they need more exercise, more steps, more activity. Wrong. Your body doesn't respond to volume at this age. It responds to signal strength, mechanical tension, protein density, recovery precision. That's the system. And the first lever, the one that controls everything else, is your protein threshold, not the RDA, not what feels comfortable, the actual biological minimum required to overcome anabolic resistance. And that number is higher than you think. 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, daily. That's the threshold to overcome anabolic resistance. Not the RDA of 0.8 grams. Not enough. Not what worked at 40. If you weigh 180 pounds, that's 82 kilograms, you need 130 to 180 grams of protein every single day. And most men over 60 are getting 60 to 80. They're starving their muscles while thinking they're eating well, the old way. Eat when you're hungry. Get protein from dinner. Maybe a shake, if you remember. The strategist's way. Protein is distributed across 4 meals: morning, midday, post-training, evening. Each meal hits 30 to 40 grams minimum. Your muscles can only synthesize so much protein per feeding. Anything less than 30 grams per meal, and you're leaving gains on the table. Think of it like this. Your muscle is a factory. Protein is the raw material, but the factory has delivery windows. Miss the window? The trucks drive past. The assembly line shuts down. At 60 plus, those windows are narrower. You need higher concentrations of leucine, the amino acid that flips the anabolic switch. That means real food. Chicken breast, eggs, Greek yogurt, whey protein. Not cereal, not toast. Men who hit this threshold maintain 40% more lean mass than those who don't. That's not a small edge. That's the difference between rare and average. But protein without the right training stimulus? Wasted. And that's where most men sabotage themselves. They treat resistance training like cardio. Big mistake. Resistance training, 3 to 4 times per week, progressive overload, not walking, not staying active. Lifting. Most men over 60 are stuck in the cardio trap. They think movement equals muscle preservation. It doesn't. Only mechanical tension triggers muscle protein synthesis in aging tissue. You need to lift heavy enough to send a signal, and that signal has a specific threshold, 60 to 85% of your 1 rep max. For most exercises, that's 8 to 12 reps where the last 2 feel genuinely hard. Not uncomfortable, hard. The lightweight trap kills more physiques than anything else. You grab the 15-pounders because you're worried about your joints. Your joints are fine. They need load to stay healthy. Bone density, tendon strength, cartilage integrity, they all respond to mechanical stress, not babying. Training architecture for the rare physique guy. 3 sessions minimum, 4 optimal, full body or upper-lower split. Compound movements first. Progressive overload every 2 weeks. Add 2.5 to 5 pounds, or 1 more rep. That's the signal your body needs to adapt. Men who lift 3 times per week have 18% more type 2 muscle fibers than non-lifters. Those are your power fibers, the ones that fade first with age. unless you demand they stay. Recovery happens between sessions, not instead of them. You're not too old to train hard, you're too inconsistent. But training without proper recovery, that's where the system breaks down. And most men are sabotaging their gains in the one place they think doesn't matter: sleep. And it controls everything. 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, non-negotiable. This is where muscle is built, not in the gym, not at the dinner table, in deep sleep. Growth hormone peaks during stage 3 and stage 4 sleep. At 60 plus, you're producing 50% less growth hormone than you did at 30. Unless you optimize sleep, then you can claw back 70 to 80% of that production. 1 week of 5-hour nights drops testosterone by 15%. Muscle protein synthesis falls by 20%. Your body shifts into survival mode. Catabolism, cortisol dominance, fat storage around the midsection. You can eat perfectly, train flawlessly, and still lose ground because you're treating sleep like it's optional. Most men think they can get by on 6 hours. I feel fine. You don't feel the muscle loss. You don't feel the hormonal cascade. You feel it 6 months later when your pants fit differently and your lifts have stalled. Sleep debt is real, and it compounds. The rare physique guy? He schedules sleep like a training session. Dark room. Cool temperature, 65 to 68 degrees. No screens 1 hour before bed. Consistent wake time, even on weekends. It sounds boring. It is boring, but boring works. This is where most men fail. Not because they don't know what to do, because they won't protect the time. They stay up scrolling. They watch one more episode. They answer emails at 11 p.m., and they wonder why they're shrinking. You can't outsmart biology. Your body repairs itself on a schedule. Miss the window, and you're not just neutral, you're regressing. Muscle breakdown exceeds synthesis. You lose. Men who prioritize sleep report 65% higher life satisfaction. They have 40% lower all-cause mortality risk. This isn't about vanity. It's about autonomy, energy, the ability to do what you want, when you want, without your body being the limiting factor. So sleep is the third non-negotiable. Protein, training, recovery, those three form the foundation. But knowing the system isn't enough. Most men understand the principles and still don't execute. Why? Because they're missing the framework that ties it all together. The blueprint, the phased approach that takes you from average to anomaly in 6 months. And that's what I'm giving you next. 3 phases, 6 months. You go from average to anomaly. Phase 1, foundation, months 1 and 2. Dial in protein, 1.6 grams per kilogram minimum. Establish training frequency, 3 times per week, full body. Sleep baseline, 7 hours, non-negotiable. Your goal? Stop the decline. Stabilize lean mass. You're not building yet, you're plugging the leak. Most men skip this phase. They want results immediately. They add volume, intensity, supplements, and they burn out in week 3 because the foundation wasn't there. Don't be most men. Phase 2, momentum, months 3 and 4. Protein increases to 2.0 grams per kilogram. Training shifts to 4 times per week. Upper-lower split. Progressive overload tracked every session. Add weight, add reps. The signal has to escalate. Sleep remains locked at 7 to 9 hours. Recovery is still the priority. This is where muscle protein synthesis starts exceeding breakdown. You're in net gain. Strength climbs. Body composition shifts. You start noticing the difference in the mirror and on the bar. Phase 3, anomaly. Months 5 and 6. Protein maintained at 2.0 plus grams per kilogram. Training introduces intensity techniques, drop sets, tempo work, strategic overreach weeks followed by deload. Recovery optimization expands. Sleep quality tools, stress management, mobility work to support heavier loads. You're now in the top 5% of your age cohort, visibly different from your peers. Stronger than men 10 years younger. This isn't theory. This is the exact blueprint the rare physique guy follows. Repeated for months. For years. And the excuse you're about to give yourself? It's too late for me. Wrong. Muscle protein synthesis doesn't stop at 60. It slows. You reverse the slowdown with precision. Men in their 70s build muscle at rates comparable to men in their 40s when they follow this system. The difference between rare and average isn't age. It's consistency. It's refusing to accept the narrative that decline is mandatory. You've got the blueprint. 3 non-negotiables. 3 phases. 6 months to prove to yourself that you're not done. Most men won't do this. They'll watch this video, nod along, and change nothing. The top 3%, they start today. Which one are you? We're back where we started. Only 3% of men over 60 have what I call a rare physique. The other 97%, they're in managed decline. And you now know exactly what separates them. It's not genetics. It's not time. It's 3 non-negotiables executed with precision. Protein at 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram. Resistance training 3 to 4 times per week with progressive overload. 7 to 9 hours of sleep where your body rebuilds itself. Miss one? You're funding sarcopenia. You're accepting the 8% muscle loss per decade. You're choosing average? Hit all 3, you're in the system. The blueprint. Foundation, momentum, anomaly. 6 months to prove biology bends when you refuse to negotiate. The rare physique guy at 68 didn't get lucky. He built a fortress 1 rep, 1 meal, 1 night of sleep at a time. For months. For years, while everyone around him accepted less. You can be that guy, or you can be the statistic. If you're serious about this, if you want the exact training splits, the recovery protocols, the progression models that take you from phase 1 to phase 3, I've got more videos breaking down each pillar in detail. Subscribe if you're committed to the system, because that's what this channel is. Blueprints for men who refuse managed decline. Next video, I'm covering the 4-day training architecture for hypertrophy and strength after 60. Exact exercises, exact rep schemes, the load progression that builds the rare physique. It's linked on screen. You've got a choice right now. You can close this video and go back to what you were doing, or you can start tracking your protein today. Schedule your first training session this week. Protect your sleep tonight. The top 3% didn't wait for motivation. They executed on data. You've got the data. Now prove you're not average.